Why, hi there, ladies and gentlemen. We have reached my favorite point every week of the Midweek War, and that is our talk of Lucha Underground. Joining me this week, our good friend, Bobby FJ Town.
Hi everyone. I'm so excited to talk about Lucha Underground.
I'm so happy.
I've been waiting for a solid day to have somebody to talk to about this. I was talking to coworkers about it today, and I'm like, I know you don't like wrestling, and I know you've never seen wrestling, but it is the best show on television. Trying
Amazing.
to sell them on it.
And also joining us this week is our good friend in the mainstream media, Mr. Matt Carlins.
I'm in shock. My brain's barely able to handle this.
Safe to say, best episode of the season?
Ever?
Felt like it. But you know what? The season. Don't sell the season premiere short.
Oh, yeah. I mean, we had a great season.
Pentagon Jr. did break Mil Muertes' arm at the end of the first episode of the season.
Yeah, that's true.
Let's not just throw that away. But, I mean, payoffs? The payoffs were everywhere. This was like, it felt like a free 1 hour pay-per-view. It was so packed of stuff.
Absolutely. Let's dive right into this thing. Bobby, if you could have one word for Lucha Underground, what would it be?
Amazing.
How
That's it. Just amazing.
about you, Matt Carlins?
There's a lot of words I could use to describe this show, but for some reason, the only thing that keeps coming to my head is a word that Johnny Mundo uttered during this episode. Slamtown.
Yep, we got it on the bottom of the screen on my thing.
Slamtown.
Yeah, take you to Slamtown.
And my word for this week is Anemo.
Yeah. I didn't
So-
know what it meant until they
Does
Yeah.
described
anybody know what it means? What's that translate to?
I tried
Where's
to
Garza?
Google translate it and translate it into mind, which I think is interesting, but I don't know.
Well, they described it, but I can't remember what they said. The
Whatever it
commentators
is,
described it.
It sounds amazing.
Yeah.
And it's easy to chant.
Yeah.
That's always a good thing.
And May. No.
Different thing.
I thought they were chanting animal the
Animal.
whole time. I'm like, why are they chanting animal? This makes no sense. Ah, I get it.
Yeah. Matt, I'm going to start with you since we started with Bobby on the last show. What is your one good thing about Lucha Underground this week? You gotta only pick one.
That's a stupid question. The main event. I mean, Mil and Fenix. This is the defining rivalry of Lucha Underground.
Mhm.
It might be the feud of the year. It might have deserved to have been the feud of last year.
Mhm.
It's I don't.
This
I
is
can't
this is
believe-
honestly a thing I would put up there with like my top feuds in wrestling. Like this
Mhm.
is
the unstoppable, undead force of destruction, and yet we are at the point where after he's beaten everybody, he beat Pentagon Jr. and Prince Puma, pinned them both at the same time, and yet we are all certain that this tiny little man, Phoenix, is our only hope. He can beat
He's
this
his-
man. And
He's
he
his
did.
only weakness.
there were so many.
I can't. It's crazy. I
There-
can't believe this works. It's such a perfect combination.
Mhm.
There were so many points in this match where I was just like mouth open, like just in shock. Like first off, Phoenix in particular is just covered in blood during the match. Like he is like his tights are like changing color because of how much blood he's spilling out. Like it's
And they showed a picture, like they showed Mortez's hand, and it was like covered in blood.
yeah.
I was like, holy crap!
Some of the stuff like the stuff they were doing in the crowd and like like even after all they went through, like him, Phoenix still walking the rail and doing the dive off of it, like
That made me like gasp.
yeah,
I was like,
and,
Yeah. His degree of difficulty for Fenix's moves are just off the charts. The things that he does, it's just like one of those matches where they just go in and like, we're going to go for everything, and if we blow it, then fine. But they didn't. They hit everything. It's beautiful.
And they had a lot of good callbacks to Grave Consequences, I felt.
Mm-hmm.
Like the stuff, like the powerbomb on the table, like all that stuff. I don't know about you. Yeah, I don't know about, because we saw that in the Grave Consequences match. We ripped up Fenix's mask then. But I don't know about you guys, but like the minute Fenix started ripping at Mil's mask, I was like, "This is amazing. This is the greatest match of all time."
Yeah, that was great. That was just like that perfect kind of, that perfect in-ring storytelling that Lucha Underground is very underrated. It's, yeah, it's unbelievable, and the fans were just crazy. Absolutely crazy.
I love,
like Vampiro gets up from the announce table. He's like, "I can't take it anymore, Matt. I gotta go." They go over there, like, sure enough, Vamp's like standing up.
He's done it a couple times.
I can't deal with this.
I can't take this. I can't deal with
this. I gotta
this.
stand up. I can't just sit here. Yeah.
The minute Phoenix wins and bolts to the outside, like, I just love all the fans like swarming in on them to celebrate. Like, that's such a cool moment, and I feel like Phoenix has been like one of the characters that has grown throughout Lucha and has really become the face of the company, like one of the top faces of the company. Like, he is unbelievable, and I think the win was well deserved, and winning the championship was so well deserved and such a good moment. So yeah, Bobby, what is your good for Lucha Underground?
The same thing. that match, like in our March Mayhem poll that we're doing, I have Grave Consequences listed as one of my 4 matches I picked. Okay, this match may have surpassed it, or at least was an equal to that match, like we were talking about. I mean, it was so well done, so well scripted, so well put together. It just you can't ask for anything better. I mean, and like we were saying about how Fenix ripped Mil Muertes' mask. You think that Mil Muertes' mask is a part of his, like, that's a part of him. That's not a mask. That's his face.
Yeah, the idea that we would be able to at all see his face is just like, what are you talking about? Like,
yeah, you see like the little poof of hair sticking out of the top, and all of a sudden you're like, who the hell's under that mask?
Yeah,
is that a real person? What the,
is he a zombie? What the hell?
I really love how, like, the way in which the mask was torn, where like there were like the threads or whatever that were kind of coming out, so it almost made him look undead.
Yeah,
like
it was so cool.
But yeah, definitely. I'll do my good. I'll go. While the main event is amazing, I really love the opener. I love the trios match, and as much as as satisfactory it was to see Fenix win the Lucha Underground title, I think it was just as satisfactory to see the unlikely trio to recapture the trios titles.
Yeah, I agree.
And you know what I liked about it too is that they didn't try to, like, and maybe you guys feel differently, but to me, they didn't try to salvage the Disciples of Death. They just let Evilise, Son of Havoc, and Angelico go in there and whoop their ass.
Which I think works perfectly.
In a fair fight where Evilise isn't hurt and there's no, outside interference, they whooped them. They absolutely housed them. And that was probably the most satisfying part, is that they made it look, I don't want to say they made it look easy, but they did it in true championship fashion.
That's part of my complaint. One complaint, but there's not much to complain about.
Yeah. Well, I think it was cool, seeing them work together as much as they did in this match. Like, I loved, like, especially when they won, I love Angelico being so excited to, like, give Son of Havoc his belt. Like little stuff like that I really liked. And it was just cool to see all 3 of them as a unit finally. Like, with Evilise's injury that happened in Season 1. Like, it's cool to see them finally be that trios team again.
And not
it's like whenever they're actually, like, working as a team, it feels like they're nearly unstoppable. So at the beginning of the match, when they're just in total sync and they're running at the guys in the corners, and like, if they can bury their differences, they're unstoppable. And that's the story of the team, and it all plays out in the ring.
Yeah, and I like what they did with the Disciples, even the stuff after, with the whole stuff with Mil backstage. Like, because I think I've said it before. To me, the Disciples of Death are almost kind of like the putties in Power
That's what I was
Rangers.
just gonna say.
Yeah, it's like they're there to like cause havoc, but like they aren't like the most powerful thing. You know what I mean? Like
Maybe they
I
spark.
yeah, and when they got beat for the belts, they're just gone now because
Yeah.
they've served their purpose in the story of Lucha Underground.
That's what I was just gonna say about the putties. Uh,
But yeah, I really love that match. Can you think, Matt Carlins? Can you think of a bad for this week?
I actually did think of a bad thing for this week. I'm wondering if I'm concerned that Rey Mysterio may have furnished alcohol to a minor during this episode.
I think El Dragon is tech is of
I was
age.
like, wait, is he a child? What's it?
Wait for it. Is he?
In fairness, last week we did get that whole hey, I was watching that thing with the famous
Rey Mysterio's Jesus
El
juice.
Dragon Teen Angsteca. Well, the other fun part about that, as I was working this through my imagination, all bad things lead to more good things. I'm like, well, if he did provide alcohol to a minor, maybe officers Reyes and Ryan will arrest him in a future episode.
That's an idea.
Don't blow your cover to arrest Rey
Give the Ranger
Mysterio
ring
for providing alcohol to a minor, Reyes. No.
Drink this Jesus juice.
Anyway.
Jesus.
Oh, my goodness. Drink the Kool-Aid.
Yeah, but also going into that segment, we found out that they've both been invited to participate in Aztec Warfare next week. We submitted like he gave him the letter and stuff like that, and they sort of revealed it. And I was like, oh, that's cool. And then when Ray pulled out his letter, I was like, this is amazing. This is the best thing.
I'm excited to see how Dragon Azteca Jr. debut.
Yeah, definitely.
I don't think it's going to end well for him. Call the hunch.
Well, the way things are looking. We'll get to that in a
I
second.
don't think it's looking. I don't know if it's looking good.
Bobby, what is your good? Or excuse me, what's your bad for this week?
My bad is has something to do with the Trios Championship.
Mm-hmm.
I like the fact that they have a Trios Championship, but to me they haven't built as many good teams to compete for the Trios Championship, if that makes sense.
Okay.
Like the Putties were the only ones, and then the Crew.
Well, the crew's down. The crew's down a man.
Well, they are, but they got Chavo now, so. But,
I see your point. The way I see it, who knows what we're going to see this rest of the season?
Maybe a team of Marty the Moth, his sister, and somebody else.
Yeah, I mean we've got a lot of
a certain police officer.
We do have teams, like, sort of teams forming, like maybe something in that case. Also, like
Drago,
PJ Black, Jack Evans.
Yeah.
Like
Nunchuck Club.
Yeah, we got a lot of tag teams forming. Like if you threw in like another member, I could see that working. Yeah. But I trust Lucha because I think in the sense of the way they tell their narrative, like I think they have a place for what's coming of the Trios title.
And plus I think it's gonna tie into the tribes thing. They were talking about uniting the 7 tribes. Maybe that's part of it too. But as of right now, it's only Angelico, Son of Havoc, and Evilise. I think that's the only teams that they have with 3. But that's a minor gripe. I mean,
yeah, it's fine.
The Putties have served their purpose.
Definitely. Second week in a row, but I'm actually going to pass on my bad. I don't think it's fair for me to say anything bad about this show. There's nothing I could say that would I just can't. I just can't. I can't honestly say. Let's do a change then. What would be your change for this week, Matt Carlins?
I felt like the Chavo Tejano match kind of got a little bit overshadowed by the other stuff that was on this show.
It wasn't as
intense. And I thought the match itself was fine. It served a purpose. It told a story. It was good. There was nothing wrong with it. I just think it needed some room to breathe. And maybe if there's an opportunity to maybe swap it for another show with a match on another show, and maybe, I don't know,
Yeah.
Let's get another Cobra Moon squash on this.
Mhm.
I miss Cobra Moon, man. I need to see her
Yeah.
killing people again.
She can go.
No.
I agree. I think that's the thing you could say is that it got lost, definitely,
Mhm.
and I think that may have been the biggest thing. But yeah, Bobby, what
I got a
would be your
change.
change?
Where I never thought I would say this. Where was Famous B this week?
Yeah, we another famous yeah.
Dying to know what the purpose of the promos are with Famous B.
What happened with Brenda?
I want to know. I don't know why. I just want to know. Why did he say he was retired last week? Like he's a
Yeah.
retired fighter. I was like, wait, you're not coming back? You got a character now.
You're not showing up for Aztec Warfare?
Yeah.
Where are you?
Well, we don't know. Maybe we'll.
And
Well, yeah, Bobby, I mean, speculation, but that's part of the fun. Maybe things will go really bad for Al Dragon Azteca next week, and maybe he'll make the call.
Oh, that would be perfect.
Get fame, and maybe, I mean, who knows what Famous B can turn El Dragon Azteca
That would
into
be
with that magic
honestly-
wand. He might turn into Cage or something. I don't know what the hell he turned into.
That would be really good, actually. Like
Yeah.
he loses once and realizes and like has self doubt. And Famous B just walks to me like, "Hey,
Also, I'm watching on demand. Have there been the last 3 weeks? Have there been any like tags at the end of the show, or have they just ended the show with the last?
I think like two. Like last week we had
There have not been,
Yeah, I missed that. I was
Wait,
like, oh, there's
not
nothing.
the last
I
2
think it
weeks,
was-
there haven't been anything.
Yeah, last week we had the Fenix Mil Muertes stare down.
Yeah.
And we had the stuff with Phoenix at the end. So,
Yeah.
but I think before that we usually have like a kind of a closing thing.
Yeah, there was. I just missed that this week. I was like, oh, nothing to tease.
Yeah,
Other than the Metanza thing, which
I was gonna say we'll get to that.
Yeah.
Oh boy. My change for this week, I would have loved maybe a small segment with Ricky Reyes and Joey Ryan after Reyes walked out on,
Yeah.
on Chavo. Who knows? Maybe we'll get that next week. So I'll keep that in mind.
I must have missed that. I didn't see him walk out.
Well, it was like right in the beginning of the match.
Oh,
Like,
okay.
like Chavo was like get in there and fight Tejano, and then both him and Mr. Cisco like stepped down off the apron
Oh,
and
I
like,
must have missed that.
fight your own battle.
Huh.
So I think that's interesting. I think obviously they may have something to play with this whole undercover cop business. But let's get into some of the
I
stuff.
can't wait to see what's going to happen because I feel like, oh man, I can't wait to see it. Oh my gosh, I just love the undercover cop thing, just like hanging over him, and just Mr. Cisco is going to find out. And it's going to be fantastic. So
I love that. Yeah.
I can't wait.
Let's get into some of the stuff we didn't get to talk about.
Yeah.
There are a couple segments we didn't get to talk about. One, I don't know about you guys, but I love that opening with Phoenix and Katrina.
Oh yeah. She said she was.
Yeah, it was really
you can
good.
bring me back to life. I'm like, what?
And then like play off that there's like some kind of like I don't want to say sexual tension, but like there's some kind of like relationship thing there. And she was like crying afterwards. I was like, this is just a big
There's something
loophole.
deeper. Yeah.
Yeah, like this is a big.
That this was not simply her using him. That there might have been something else
Mhm.
going on.
Well, I love that she mentioned she's like maybe I made a mistake, not staying with you because there was that period where she we felt that she had left Mill for Phoenix.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Definitely.
And I think that's very interesting. I found it really interesting when she mentioned like Mill's gonna beat you tonight, and then I'm gonna like I'm paraphrasing, but Mill's gonna beat you tonight, and then I'm going to live eternally.
Yeah. So Katrina's a ghost, right?
I don't. I also love the theory. One of the many theories about Katrina is that she's basically like I can't think of the name of the movie. You remember the movie? What is it? What is that horror movie where it's an adopted girl or whatever? Orphan. But the plot twist is that she's really like 80 years old,
Yeah.
but she just looks like 15.
Spoiler alert.
Spoiler alert. If you ever watched the
Who
Orphan,
cares? Who cares?
like I like that theory. Is that she's really like 80 or 90 years old, but she is in the body of a 20-year-old woman.
Yeah.
Because he's the
I
ghost. Like the
I
ghost,
like-
the spirit is inhabiting a younger person's body. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, and Phoenix
Like it's
is
a possession?
I
yeah,
like Brandon Stroud's theory that she's deaf.
yeah,
Period.
that as
Yeah.
well. But I just love the the idea going back to like the symbolism of Phoenix being the man of 1,000 lives and Mill being the man of 1,000 deaths. Like, who else to give Katrina life than Phoenix?
Mm-hmm.
So I thought it was really cool. I also want to mention the kind of Aztec warfare kind of backstage thing we got with Prince Puma and Johnny Mundo.
Taking the slam down.
Johnny
Yes, Lance.
Mundo. Thank you, Johnny Mundo, for everything you do. I love his AutoZone spots. And
I miss those now. I have them on demand.
it's just him like doing push-ups and
Yeah.
be like,
Who was the Luchador of the week this week?
I think it was Mill.
Mil Muertes was the
Oh,
Cricket
Mil Muertes,
Wireless
okay.
Luchador of the week.
Okay.
Keep you up to date on that one.
Thank you. I don't have that
Go
privilege
ahead.
anymore.
and then I just love the end shot of Prince Puma punching through a punching bag.
Yeah.
It's just like
That's from season 1 too, because he did that.
yeah.
He did that in the beginning of the show.
I love that's the thing I love. That's the kind of
Question.
thing I love about Lucha, where it's like so out there that it works.
Question. Conan's dead, right? Not
I think
real life.
we can confirm Conan's dead.
I
Conan's
think they
dead.
killed him off. That makes me sad.
And the nice thing about that is that not that this season really needs any help, but that kind of officially pushed the season body count over
Yeah.
season 1. So you cleared
To
it
officially
with Conan's death. We didn't know.
Oh yeah, there was more than that, but
That's fair.
I mean,
I
season
mean,
one
Metanza's been eating people in the beta temple for
beta temple.
who knows how long. Who knows how long?
Beta test temple.
So let's
Test
get to
temple.
that because I know
Yeah.
we've been waiting to talk about that.
Yeah.
This is obviously a big episode because of the title changes and the matches, but bigger than anything of that, I feel, we get our first glimpse, first real kind of
Yeah.
glimpse of
Yeah.
Metanza. And oh my god.
Did you think they were gonna show him? Like it looked like for a second I was like, they're gonna show him, and they kind of zoomed into this dark door, and I'm like,
I
I
thought,
guess
they were
not.
gonna cut away.
And then here he comes. I'm like, my heart's all beating. I was like,
And this whole time, I think it's so, I was very puzzled because it's like, you think, oh, it's gonna have to be a wrestler, like, because he's gonna have to make like some kind of like at least appearance on the actual like temple sort of part of it. And I was like, how are they gonna portray like a monster, like an animalistic monster, through like somebody through an actual person in a getup?
Mm-hmm.
And this sold it for me. Like it was he's gigantic.
You know what I thought he looked like? He looks like Bane from the comics, but from a horror movie.
Yeah.
That's what he looks like, and it's amazing.
It's very much Bane meets Texas Chainsaw Massacre.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking of. Yep, exactly.
And he just comes out covered in blood.
Yeah.
Like just gross amounts of blood.
I wonder if the blood will still be on him next week.
I love the idea that he'll just come into the temple just covered in blood.
Yeah.
And he's just this animal that's just I'm so excited. And because also Dahlia mentioned they're making their way back to the temple now. So
I mean, my mind is racing trying to think of like how far they're going to try to push this.
Yeah, are they going to
Like,
make it to
is he gonna eat
Yeah.
an audience member? Like, what's going to happen? Like, if he gets in the ring, I mean, I know this is a joke. The chains are off. I mean, he's going to run wild.
And then
it's Curtis
Vampir's
Axel.
he's gonna eat an audience member, and Vampir's gonna be like, "Man, that takes me back."
Yeah.
Cannibalism takes me back.
That's what I like to see, Matt. I like to see these guys. They won't do
I gotta
anything.
get out of here.
Yeah.
I can't take this anymore.
It's like, I'll stand up.
But yeah,
I'm
so
they've-
excited.
These guys have had a long time to think about how they're going to present Metanza. If any of you guys out there, loyal members of the Mayhem universe, listen to the Indie Mayhem show where we talked to Krista Joseph a while back. Was that the Indie or was that the wrestling? One of the
I think
Mayhem
we talked
shows.
about both.
We talked to Krista Joseph the last time, and he was talking about that Matanza was initially going to come around in season 1, and he was going to be a big part of season 1. It didn't end up happening, and he just kept kind of getting pushed back until they realized that they had the mystery was even more powerful than the actual thing. So they've had this germ in their mind for like what, over a year at least, about how they were going to roll this guy out. But it's going to be something else.
There was one AAA wrestler that I thought it might have been, and that I don't know if you guys have ever heard of Granda.
I'm not.
He kind of looks like the devil.
Oh, I know. I think he's got like a full like red devil suit.
Yeah. I thought it might have been him, but I guess not.
Yeah, that could be an interesting idea.
I mean, I wonder if they're gonna bring him in at some point too, because he's a cool. He would fit Lucha Underground, I think.
Yeah,
and he's AAA. So.
I don't know. I can't remember if they're AAA or not. But what are the? And I don't know if they're a team to bring in Lucha Underground. But I think they have like an insane clown team, like not insane clown posse, but they're demon clowns.
No, yeah.
Oh, nice.
A psycho circus deal.
Yeah, something along those lines. Like, but you look at gimmicks like that, and you're like, that fits Lucha Underground perfectly. Like, but I think it's interesting. I definitely am intrigued with because like I mentioned, you don't know if they're coming by Aztec Warfare. You don't know if it's going to be a couple weeks. You know, they just said they're coming. So
if you haven't seen Granda, this is Granda. Can you see him?
There we go. Yeah.
Yeah, he looks cool.
Yeah, definitely. I think there were definitely a lot of options. I feel like Lucha Underground could go with it, but I love that they went with that gore factor.
Mm-hmm.
Like especially with some character, a character they built up in the way they built Metanza.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm so pumped. I'm pumped to see him. I'm pumped to see Mysterio and El Dragon Azteca Jr. So much cool stuff coming.
I hope that's what they call him too.
This thing's going to be stacked if they do show up for the Aztec Warfare. But this could be like 20 men. It's going to be insane. Like the star power's off the charts. They're throwing everything at it.
Weren't they talking on I know we're not supposed to mention other podcasts, but how they mentioned on Matt McCarthy mentioned it this week. How I don't know if it was this week or a different week, but he went back and watched the first episode of Lucha Underground, and how he noticed that he didn't realize it at the time, but El Dragon Azteca, the original one, was talking to the kid in the hoodie that was the guard of the temple, which eventually became as El Dragon Azteca Jr.
Yeah.
Like, he was talking to him. He didn't realize that at the beginning. And then he's like, oh my gosh, like that, like the whole loop stayed through with the whole show. And, like, I didn't notice that either. Like, that's pretty cool that they, like, kept that thread and didn't, like, really allude to that, but they got to it.
Yeah, definitely.
Through storylines. What a neat idea, huh?
Funny idea. Funny how that works.
Following up on storylines.
And also we didn't even get to mention, I guess, the interesting note from Aztec Warfare, which was made right after the main event, which is that it's no longer for a number one contendership shot. It's for the Lucha Underground Championship.
Yeah, I think Phoenix has to enter at number 1.
Phoenix is number 1, and Mil Muertes is number 20. I love that. I think it's very cool.
Amazing.
A nice little twist to add to the whole thing. And I think it's also interesting that the Gift of the Gods is floating out there.
Yeah.
So we don't know what...
Yeah, it's gonna be time to fight over a little medal soon.
Are they gonna do it the same way again with the medallions?
I assume so. Yeah.
Okay.
Which I think is great because I love those. I love the build to. I love.
Let's see how Katrina handles it this time.
Yeah, because especially if Katrina's in control, like I think that'll be interesting.
Yeah, because last year Dario was like, you did me a favor. Here, have a medal. And then other people would be like, have a 3-way. Fight for it.
I do miss when the door opens to Dario Cueto's office. I miss that.
Well, I mean, hey, where there's Metanza showing up,
yeah,
there's going to be Dario Cueto. And when Dario rolls back into that temple, you think you've heard that crowd get loud before.
Oh yeah, that would probably be the
They're
biggest
gonna
problem of the
get
season.
loud when they see Dario Cueto. They will go wild. Because I mean, they're not privy to the stuff that we've been seeing, the backstage stuff and whatnot.
They have no idea
So
Metanza
there's
is
probably been
coming.
a little bit of confusion about exactly where the hell he is. And when he finally does show up, I think there's going to be so much excitement to see him back, because they got to be wondering if where is he? Where's Dario? Is he not coming back?
Yeah. But yeah, that is this week's episode of Lucha Underground. Guys, do I even have to ask where we rank this week?
Numero uno.
Numero uno.
Numero uno as well. Like I said on Twitter, best show on TV right now. It's cut them off. Yeah, that's our Lucha Underground section of the Midweek War this week. Bobby F. J. Town, where can people find you on Twitter?
People can find me at BobbyFJTown on Twitter, insertcointobegin.com. Boss Battle's back, and we're putting up new episodes when we get to them.
And Matt Carlins, where can people find you on Twitter?
You could find me on Twitter at Mainstream Matt. Find your friends, find your fellow believers, tell them all about this podcast. Tell them you have found the Lucha Underground podcast for people who love Lucha Underground. No haters allowed. No backhanded compliments. Just straight up love and appreciation for the best wrestling show on television. And tell your friends, because this is the place where you need to be.
Absolutely. You can find me on Twitter at Eamon2, please, and also check out a wrestling promotion I'm involved with called Inspire Pro Wrestling at InspireProWrestling.com. Also, check us out on WrestlingMayhemShow.com. That's where you'll find all the stuff from our shows to our articles that our good friend Matt Carlins writes up from time to time. Lots of great stuff. You can donate to us on Patreon. You can support us through ProWrestlingTees.com and so much more. All that over at WrestlingMayhemShow.com. But for Eamon Payton, for myself, why am I talking in the third person? Almost went through this without a glitch.
If you smell what Eamon Payton's cooking.
Oh, God. I almost made it. For myself, for Bobby F. J. Town, for Matt Carlins, this has been the Midweek War.
It's not gone yet.
It's not gone yet.
Adios.
Is it?
Hey, Bobby.